Hello everyone, just a quick word from your friendly editor/husband. For all of you who listen to So I'm Watching This Show and own an Android device, do me a favor. Go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all of your favorite podcasts directly on your Android devices. I use the app and love it. I can search for the podcasts I want to listen to, select them as favorites, and have them all just a click away. Make sure you set So I'm Watching the Show as a favorite so you don't miss any new episodes. Again, the app is Podcast Republic, available on your Android device. Thanks!
Sorry, I was on Twitter and one of the trending topics, because I haven't learned my lesson yet, was it's official. These are the 2020 songs of the summer.
Oh, yeah. Hard pass. I saw that trending earlier and I was like, no way in hell am I clicking on that.
Why?
I just know I'm going to get angry.
Well, you like Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. That was number 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Savage, Megan Thee Stallion, Watermelon Sugar, Harry Styles, Say So, Doja Cat, WAP, Cardi B, Circles, Post Malone, Adore You, Harry Styles. Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I just was certain. I was like, these are all going to be either by people I have no idea who they are, or they're not going to be summer songs.
Well, thus is the intro, because it was Billboard released it, and then you know how they'll like compile like tweets underneath it sometimes.
Sure.
It was the top 10 songs of the summer, going all the way back to 2007. Oh. And it sent me into crisis.
Oh, no.
I just like, So I was like, I don't even remember what we were about to do. So I was like, okay, hold on. I need a second.
I need a quick minute before we get back into this really intense, dark sci-fi show.
Hello, everybody. I am Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching This Show, your twice weekly pop culture podcast where we talk about movies, TV, music, and more. This is a spoiler show. However, this is going to be more of our episodic coverage. So that means what it sounds like it means.
We're spoiling every episode, but we are assuming
as we go.
If you're listening to this, you have watched said episode.
Mm-hmm. So I saw a trailer for this and I thought it looked cool. It looked high concept. It looked Ridley Scott. Travis Fimmel was in it. And as you mentioned in our The Boys coverage, we are closet or not so closeted Travis Fimmel stans.
I don't know. Stan is a lot.
You did say that.
Like
it was
him.
fun. It was fun listening to that intro that I don't remember participating in. I'm glad to know I have autopilot.
Yeah, you do.
I was very drunk when we recorded it and I didn't remember recording it. But yeah, so I was like, hey, do you want to watch this? And you watched the trailer and you're like, yeah, it seems cool, whatever. And we were in a place where we needed content. So I was like, gabba gabba hey, who gives a bibble? So I threw this thing on, kicked my feet up, grabbed some popcorn. And
it is not that kind of show, man.
It is not.
It's okay. Here's the thing. It is very cool. And it is interesting. And God bless Travis Fimmel. He's trying his best.
Oh, okay.
I am interested to see more of it.
Well, that's the first question. Are we covering the show?
So Will is going to watch it. And so I need
by
to
proxy.
know where it goes.
Okay.
So I'm going to be watching it with him. So I guess it's up to you if we're going to be sincerely covering the show. I think I would like to do what we're doing with The Boys, which is the first 3 episodes will come out as an episode. And then if anybody wants to follow along, the 4 through 10 will be on the Patreon. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm at. But it was a lot. Episode 1 was a lot.
So I reached a point where I was I had watched the episode and I was like, man, I don't know what episodic coverage of this would be like. And I paused it to see how much was left in the show. And there was about 40 minutes left in the show. And I was like, oof, okay, maybe I will have enough to talk about. But I am game to do the first 3 episodes.
Sure.
And then if we decide that we want to continue, there is a part of me that I'm like, this is perfectly good energy and time that could be put into Lovecraft Country.
Well, I suspect that we're going to do Lovecraft Country at some point. We just both of us had sort of independently made the choice to let some episodes build up so that we could binge it a little bit more. Because I think I'm way more interested in Lovecraft Country, and I think I would have not handled it as well having to wait week to week.
Yeah, well, similar to what we did with Euphoria, where remember I just watched Euphoria, and then before the finale, you kind of caught up.
That was an intense day.
It was.
That show's intense.
It really was. It was excellent, though.
It was super excellent, yeah.
So, yeah, okay. Heavy.
So, okay. It's so much like a Ridley Scott movie. He obviously directed the first couple, I think. But it is very reminiscent of like the first Alien movie, and also, what was it, like Prometheus? Or Alien Covenant or whatever. Whichever one had the like those humanoid figures that were like
Prometheus.
Was it Prometheus? Yeah. So
I liked Prometheus. I would cover it anytime.
Yeah. Visually and like I guess philosophically it's very interesting, and this feels like it's that same kind of vibe where it's very, there's a lot of solitary people doing very solitary things, and it all feels very of a kind with the rest of Ridley Scott's oeuvre.
The place that I'm at, and given how the episode ended, I have a bit more of an idea what we're going to be doing. But I was 2/3 of the way through this episode, and I was like, how is this a show? I was like, what story is going to be told here? And it doesn't spoon feed it to you. It just, and in that regard, it's a little bit like something like Mad Max Fury Road, where it just sort of gives you context clues and visual cues and trusts you to.
Yeah, to which I'd also say it is quite a lot like the first Alien movie, because you end up knowing enough to get you through the story, but there's like vast areas of the plot, and like there's backstory that you only get on like repeat viewings and from like knowing behind the scenes stuff. So what the story seems to be is that there was a cataclysm on Earth as we know it, and Earth built an ark and people went on it, and it's been cruising Wall-E style, I guess. It seems like it.
And then there was someone named Capricola or something who Campion. I'll get it by the end.
You will. By the final episode, you'll be like, Campion, I've known all along, and I will direct you back to this.
Acting funny. Campion was the name of a scientist who programmed these androids. And androids are like a merger of human and robot.
Yes.
They are robots that contain genetic material, like organic material. Okay.
Yeah. So like for anybody listening at home who likes the Alien movies, it's like Ian Holm playing Ash in the first one.
I just know that like an android is something specific. They're not robots.
They're not robots, but they are capable of more than humans. So they have robot qualities.
Well, and she's also part Gorgon.
She's something else. She is something else.
I was unprepared for that one.
So, okay, there were these little after show things, and Will and I watched them. You didn't see them?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they're pretty cool because it's on HBO Max. So they were having some like little extra things, and it was pretty interesting because they said something in it which leads me to believe that we're going to find out more about Mother's past, like how she came to be, because they said, in addition to the like nurturing programming that she's been instilled with in order to raise these children and like start a new colony or life or whatever, she also retains her original programming. But they didn't go into specifics about what that is, although we can tell that it is murdery.
Yeah, she's very well. Her like android figure is very like Jessica Lange and Titus meets Metropolis.
She's very androgynous. And it also was giving me a little bit of like Blade Runner, like Daryl Hannah and Blade Runner.
Yeah, well, because then I was going to say her like more human appearance is very like if somehow Annie Lennox and Tilda Swinton had a baby that was more severe.
Sure.
And
That's so severe. It's like jaw, like cheekbones, like a cut glass.
Yeah, she wasn't my favorite. I was clocking Mother pretty early on. I was
for sure.
I loved Father, so I was certain that he was going to die. I am shocked he didn't die sooner, to be honest.
It was like 20 minutes in.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Father, you.
Yeah. He was pretty good. I liked him a lot, too. But I do, obviously, this is going to be about Mother. And not to jump right to the end, except that we always do. But like, she just stole a bunch of children.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So back to out detailing the premise. It appears that Campion was some scientist who engineered them to send them to a planet they could survive on with 12 embryos, human embryos, and they were tasked with the job of raising these children without religion, because apparently religion is what led to the downfall of Earth. And
you don't say.
Well, yes, but as evidenced pretty early on in this episode, militant atheism is not necessarily the answer either.
Obviously, yes. But I think it is important to note that Travis Fimmel and his collective or whatever are dressed like Templars.
Yes.
I think that's important to note.
The message that I got from here was that belief in God, belief in something outside of science is not in and of itself bad. As a matter of fact, it can potentially even be life-saving. Yeah. However, the organization and control and abuse of that kind of power or of that way of thinking into power and control is where the problem is.
Yeah, 100%.
And so Mother seems to be the epitome of overcorrection. So
I mean, yes. You would imagine, though, that it was Campion, the scientist, who overcorrected her that way.
Sure, but it didn't hit Father.
I don't know. I think that goes more back to the whatever quote unquote original programming. I think there's something in her that handles things differently.
If we've learned one thing from the Android media of late, don't reprogram them. You can't just wipe it clean.
Yeah, no, you that search history is always going to be there.
Always going to be there. Like the Fox News logo burned into the corner screen of your grandparents' TV. It's not going. Did I go too deep?
That was tough. That one was tough to hear.
So it was interesting, if a tad plotting, tad kind of like boring, and then we racketed it up like to a 9, and she started melting people's faces off and like exploding entire humans into viscera.
I thought it was pretty cool.
It was actually pretty cool, to be quite honest. There are certain, the way I am with violence, and I mean this is probably true of several people, is it's like, or many people, is like, if violence is so stylized, it actually just becomes fascinating.
Yeah, I would say this is like the other end of the spectrum from The Boys, because that's so visceral and in your face, and like you watch that guy's jaw get ripped off, and it's just like,
this is a bit more like Spartacus, where it's like,
yeah, it's so over the top. It's like there was nothing left of those people but blood on the walls.
Rorschach, yeah,
there weren't organs. Like, she quite literally obliterated them.
Yeah, she ripped a guy's eyelid off.
That was tough. That one was, I heard the noise on that one, and that one was not good.
Well, because also she was like, do what I say or I'll hurt you. And then she ripped his eye, and I was like, oh, okay.
He wasn't not doing what you said.
So but that also, okay, so this is where I don't know what my longevity for this show will be, because the end of the first episode, she decimated the part of the show I was curious by.
The like space part?
The that shit, that's the kind of stuff. I prefer my sci-fi to be more glamorous. I'm in way more of a like Fifth Element, Princess of Mars, Star Wars prequels. Like I just prefer space opera. Also, it like it just can't be undone.
Yeah, did she actually destroy the whole spacecraft?
Yeah, it crashed into the mountain.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
And exploded in Northern Lights. And
so, do you mean you're not excited for the moment when Travis Fimmel falls in love with this android lady?
Shut up, no.
No, I have no idea. I just can, like, sort of feel it coming.
Is that what we're going to fucking do? Oh, my God.
I don't know.
I'm going to flip a desk. That's part of, because that's why I'm like, okay, well, so what is this? Because, I mean, I don't know that, I don't know. I don't know. We should watch it and find out.
We should, because I don't know. I was just talking on my ass. It just feels like something that would happen on a show with Travis Fimmel.
So help me God if he doesn't bang another priest. He probably has been.
There are no others left. Do you think those Templar dressed idiots are cool with the gays? I don't think he's going to be gay in this.
Yeah, but they're in the upper. They're at the top of the.
They're at the top, so they're allowed. So, well, there's no other Templar knights, space knights left.
So he was. So now he's going to be mad because I don't know. It's.
I mean, I doubt it.
With heavy hesitation, I'm going to say, let's go watch the next one.
Okay.
So let's see. I am at least I am intrigued to watch more, and we will see from there.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, I'm glad you're ready.
I mean, I'm ready in that I'm like physically capable of going now. I remember very little because I watched this like 3 days ago now.
Damn it. Okay, so I remember very little because I just finished episode 4 of The Boys.
Oh, okay.
And my brain has been wiped clean.
Cool.
It's like, so I was like, I can't remember anything else. No, I got it. I'm there. So we watched episode 2 of Raised by Wolves. Mm-hmm. I am more on board.
Okay, I wondered if you were going to be.
Why?
Because it got a little deeper into like what's actually happening.
Precisely.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I can understand what show I'm watching now.
Yeah. Well, because it was so weird. I was like, really? Travis Fimmel is like a virulently religious person? Like, there's no way. Like, that does not compute for me. And so understanding now, it makes more sense.
It was odd because I did see a trailer for it, but I don't even think I saw a trailer. Like, I think I saw a TV spot. And so I was going in based on a handful of visual aesthetics and the names.
Right.
The, like, production. And so we spent the entire first episode sort of establishing a reality to kind of seemingly tear it down by the end of the episode. And I was like, well, okay.
Well, what are we doing now?
Yeah, it's like, and so they kind of reset. It was kind of like a prologue and then like a actual first episode. So I'm interested. I'm finding it interesting. So we had basically Travis Fimmel and shit, I don't know their names yet. I'm gonna have to learn their names if we're doing this.
Are you talking about Mother?
No.
Oh, it's him. I think it's Mary.
Sue or Mary.
Yeah.
Okay. In my opinion, bafflingly played by Sienna Gelroy in the first chunk. I guess she's not a thing. I think she's a thing because she was in a handful of things back to back when I was a teenager.
Oh, okay.
That like seared in my mind. And I was sort of like, Helen of Troy, what are you doing here? You know?
Okay, I was like, I've never heard of her before, so.
She was in The Time Machine. She was in that dragon movie, Aragon. She was in Resident Evil. She's in 2 of the Resident Evil movies. She's like a character in the Resident Evil verse.
Gotcha,
and
okay.
The whole time, it was weird. It was weird to me. So basically, they were like scoundrels or like scavengers in Boston in like 2100 something.
Yeah, scavenger is better than scoundrel. Scoundrel's not correct.
Well, we don't know that.
Well, okay, Travis Fimmel might be a scoundrel. That's a very masculine word, though. I don't know that she could be a scoundrel.
They were scavengers in this world during this war between the Mithraic, which I really like that word. It paints a picture.
Yeah, me too.
I also like soul. I like that they've kind of distilled I mean, is it Christianity? Is it a version of Christianity, or?
I think it feels a little more primitive than that, to be honest. Like, I feel like we went
an alternate reality.
Yeah. I don't, not necessarily alternate, but it feels like we went through complicated religion back to something very simplistic and primal. So soul means sun. So I think they're worshiping the sun.
Well, and the icon is the sun. And so it's like,
in which case it's more like Egyptian.
Yeah.
In that way.
Well, that kind of like sci-fi fantasy mumbo jumbo jargon can make or break something for me, as you, the audience, well know if you've been listening.
See our Carnival Row episode.
Yeah. And so, or any YA adaptation, anyone.
You are not having the jargon in that episode.
Alita, Battle Angel. Yeah. So far, I am fine with the words they're throwing around. They feel elegant, and they feel well, like I said, Mithraic paints a picture of what we're dealing with. It's also
just like, there's not just like humdingers and yoo-haws like all over the place like there are in all these other shows where you have to learn like 45 pieces of linguistics in order to like
popper.
Understand.
Much, just the death fires.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I really liked Carnival Row. I liked it more than you did. And I was like mostly fine with that, but I still was like, this is ridiculous at a certain point. And it is very funny how the certain shows are able to do it better.
Well, and Carnival Row was borderline charming. It was like it went into like the Harry Potter verse where it's like these words were so silly that it was like quaint. And I'm going to stick to my earlier comparison of Mad Max Fury Road, where they are very much show, not tell. Like, they're just trusting, Raised by Wolves is trusting the audience that we're following what's happening. Yeah. And I'm into it. So basically, Travis Fimmel and Sue/Mary found...
Yeah, because I think it's Nev Algar the rest of the time. Yeah.
They found a plastic surgery android. And you know what? I was fine with it. I was like, seriously, we're going to plastic surgery.
He's like a high level medical android who like can also perform plastic surgery.
They earned it. It
was fine. I'm fine with it.
With that new face of yours.
Yeah. Look, every once in a while, Ridley Scott pulls something that you're like, come on. But it's like so rare, and he earns it so ably that you're like, all right, fine. The way
they were doing it with like the rubber stripping.
Yeah.
You know what it was like? It was like Kingsman 2, spoilers for Kingsman 2.
Sure.
When they explained how they brought Colin Firth back from being shot in the head.
Sure. Or like any Mission Impossible movie with the masks.
Yeah, where it's like to just say that it happens, I'm like, I beg your pardon. Right? But then when you're watching it, you're like, you know what? I buy that. I'm fine with this.
I believe the science. I believe it like I believe Jurassic Park.
Well, with her like changing back and forth out of her Metropolis cosplay, it takes the edge off, I think.
Sure.
So we found out that she is a necromancer.
Yeah, that's what they're calling
necromancer, which is a thing. I mean, it's like a fantasy thing.
Well, it's like a witch thing.
Yeah.
For sure. Because like necromancy is like bringing the dead back to life.
Yeah.
It's like the magic of death, essentially.
It was interesting. I guess I don't know why they were built by who built them? The atheists.
I think so.
Do you want me to?
Or at the very least, an atheist got hold of her and reprogrammed her.
Do you want me to launch into my fifth comparison without actually addressing any of the substance from this episode?
Of course.
So it's like that South Park thing.
Oh, no.
Have you seen the one where Cartman goes into the future with the atheists fighting against... It's like two sects of atheism are fighting over what to call atheists?
I don't think I've seen that one.
There's otters. You have seen it because it's the otter where he keeps talking about he's going to crush your head like an oyster on my tummy.
Maybe I have seen that. That sounds very familiar.
It's really dumb, but it is this show. So anyways, okay, regardless, what actual plot needs to be talked about? So
the children that she stole are varying degrees of annoying.
The smart one's a cock.
I hate him. He's so horrible.
Although the joke father told him,
Hilarious. Okay, I'm so glad that you brought up Father because we were worried that he was gone, and he's not. And I'm so glad because he is very captivating in the first place as an actor, and then his jokes and stuff, especially because when he was by himself, he was telling himself jokes and then filing them away depending on which child might like it, which I thought was so cute and like, what an interestingly programmed droid. I was really into that.
They're very Adam and Eve if Eve was a real ball buster.
Sure. By all accounts.
Yeah.
No, but I did really like that. And so I'm really glad that he's sticking around and still on the show. I'm mixed on Campion. I understand his issues with Mother and like why he feels he needs to like steal her eyes because that's what the like dangerous part of her, I guess, which I don't believe for a single second. That it's just her eyes that are dangerous.
I mean, okay, yes.
But so I'm a little mixed on him right now. I do
keep in mind he is 12.
He is 12. I understand. He's at that time in life. I get it. I do really like Tempest and her storyline. I find that fascinating. It's literally horrible, but it's fascinating.
One? Yes. Yeah. They're handling it interestingly.
Well, Mother is so for it. Like, so for the baby in a way that I was not anticipating. Like, especially out of like an atheistic android to be like, cherish the child and like, you can't let it go.
Mother's objective is to procreate.
That's
like,
true.
Go forth and multiply.
And obviously her like programming has run amok. So she's like not operating totally correctly either. So I think there's a little bit of that in there as well. Like she's too emotional for how she's supposed to be. But I loved that conversation that they had because we find out that Tempest was raped while she was still in hibernation by a man who woke up early. And now she's pregnant. And she sort of is grateful to Mother for having killed everybody on the ship, except she wanted to watch him die, which is so hardcore. And that I just was like, yeah, Tempest, I'm in this with you. And then she sort of was able to convince her that she was like, don't think about him then, just think about the baby. It's a whole separate entity and it's innocent. And I like the implications.
As a heads up, we're going to have this conversation again after The Boys.
Cool. Perfect. I really like the implications of where this storyline can go. And I like what we might discover in the future about Tempest and her relationship with Mother and all kinds of stuff. It's going in a really interesting direction where like no matter where you go in human history, things are the same. And that's the kind of thing that I think Ridley Scott is so good at because he does so much stuff in the far, far future. And it's like, yeah, you can be talking about like xenomorphs and whatever, but at the end of the day, the people are doing exactly what people do and what people have always done. And like that stuff doesn't change. And I think that's what's so fascinating.
It's like the thing that Stephen DeKnight, the like writer and creator of Spartacus, when he was sort of justifying the show. Yeah. And he was like, if one thing is and always has been true for humanity, it's that we're very vulgar. Like there's this idea that, you know, antiquity was very classy. You know?
And it's like, no, everybody was, you know, fucking all over the place and farting and shitting in the street. And 100%. And there's like, I think one of my favorite things, and I don't remember where it was, but I think it was like an anthropological article. And it basically was like, what's so fascinating is that when you find these civilizations from like thousands and thousands of years ago, you can tell like where the children were drawing.
I told you it was a documentary I watched about Pompeii. Yeah,
because it was like the children's drawings are the same now as they've always been.
Because they're connected to neurological advancement and not actual like commentary around.
I was like, that is one of the most fascinating things I can ever imagine. It was so cool.
Yeah.
I was not trying to make myself sound smart by saying anthropological article. It just sounded like that was what it was from.
You made me sound smart. I was like, No, it was a 2-hour documentary on Pompeii that my mom had me watch. That was actually very fascinating.
Yeah.
They were taking the casts of the bodies that they made.
Yeah.
And they were trying to find out what they really were. Like they were trying to study the bones to find out. And basically, because this actually illustrates your point, so I'm glad that I went ahead and told the story. All of the stories we assigned to those bodies are not true.
Oh.
Basically, like, a lot of these stories we imprint onto these things are not it. Like, one of them where it's like a female, but it's a man who his clothing just bunched weird.
Oh, funny.
And a lot of them were wealthy.
Yeah.
Because the poor people fled.
Oh, that's even funnier.
Yeah. And so, like, a lot of, and I guess not like uber riche, but like it was just very kind of normal people that were like, when the hurricanes come, they're like,
yeah, I can hack it. And it's like, you should really drive to Georgia.
Yeah. So it is fascinating. But anyways, yeah. So I think the thing for me that I'm the most excited about with this show after the second episode, and I hope this continues, I would hate for this to be the peak.
Well, so I will say that I don't believe any more of the episodes are directed by Ridley Scott.
Sure.
So that's going to be something, but I think the writers are the same.
Yeah. I truly have no concept of what the objective for the show is.
Same.
And I find that interesting because a lot of times when we go into shows, I mean, to compare it again to The Boys, it's like, as much as we are loving that, we have a concept of what the show is about.
Right.
We have sort of we can imagine an end, whether or not we're correct or not.
Yeah.
And it's like this, I'm like, we could have an entirely new cast by episode 5. I have no clue.
That's fair. That's super fair.
I like the kid who is Travis Fimmel's son.
Yeah, Paul.
He seems sweet.
Yeah, I'll tell you, worried for that mouse.
Do you think he knows? The mouse is dead. I'm still worried for the mouse.
Yeah, I can't tell if he knows, but I think that he was like, well, this is where I'm going now. I think he just sort of accepted it. But yeah, I'm a little worried for him and a little worried for the mouse.
Oh yeah, the mouse is dead.
I'm sad. It's such a cute little mouse.
There were just little things in this that fascinated me, like the way that I'll learn his name next time. He's Travis Fimmel for now. Just kidding. It's Travis Fimmel. You, the audience, get used to it. Like this is collaborative.
It's
you do
Marcus.
some heavy lifting. Marcus. Okay. So Travis Fimmel. I liked when he went to sleep, how he like tied himself to the rock.
So I guess it's warm. It's because the holes give off heat.
Oh, I genuinely thought it was the way that it worked. I thought that it was his way of like protecting his back.
I sort of did too, but I think Will said that it was also like there's heat coming from.
Well, then it's smart 2 ways over.
Yeah, it is. It was smart, but I agree.
And there are animals of some type that coincidentally have shown up for the first time now.
Yeah, it was weird that it's been 12 years and they've never encountered one, and now all of a sudden.
Also, there's a tropical climate on this planet, and I cannot figure out why they wouldn't already be there.
I think they couldn't have made it until they had like terraformed their little area so that they would have enough stuff to take with them.
Yeah, and then chill. Like, what are you going to do with toddlers?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think it was like they had to spend time.
Okay. I'm into it.
Me too.
I'm interested.
Yeah. Mother's eyes, I think, are going to become even
like
more
old
of a
friends.
Well, sort of like old friends, but I think they're going to be even more of a plot point. And I do actually like how Father was like because he's been the more traditionally nurturing one.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that he sort of like shook Campion and was like, give me the eyes, you fool. There's somebody in camp, you dumbass. and he like shook them loose from wherever Campion was hiding them and managed to like get them to Mother. But I do like that he sort of like leveled up in that moment and was like, I'll cut you. Give me the eyes.
I was very with Mother's specific or only with like or exclusively with Mother. At the end of the first episode, I was very burn it to the ground and salt the earth. Mm-hmm. And now I can believe that there might be a character arc or a character in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So her name is Amanda Collin, and I don't think I've ever seen her in anything before, but she's
pretty captivating.
She's really doing it in this. And I'm very interested because I agree with you. I think there's going to be some kind of serious arc with her. And I think part of it is because of her programming, because her programming is like messed up or whatever. I'm interested. I'm with you. I'm interested.
We're going to go to a mental illness place.
I don't know if we'll go that serious, but I think there's going to be something else.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we will check in after. There's like 5 out, actually. We're behind on this one.
Well, God damn it.
Yeah. We're going to be busy this weekend.
Shit.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, just real quick before we get into episode 3, I did want to say that we had a little bit of technical difficulties. That little bit of technical difficulties was I'm an idiot and didn't turn my mic on. So you can still hear me because I picked up on Kristen's mic because I'm just that loud.
And now I'm picking up on his mic.
But yeah, we just wanted to acknowledge the shift in audio quality before we go forward. So please do enjoy. Okay, so we watched episode 3 of Raised by Wolves. I'm not ready. It was like Faith or something. I don't remember.
Virtual Faith.
Yeah, virtual Faith. It's really interesting. I do not know what our coverage is going to be like because I don't know that I have that much to say specifically about this episode.
Well, it's also like a slow show. So like not a lot did happen in this episode.
No, but they're more so they're answering all the questions I had in the first one.
Yeah.
So it's like they're really filling in the blanks. And it's so far it's the kind of show where they'll say something and then an episode or two later we'll understand what that meant.
Well, even in this episode, it was like Travis Fimmel and the wife were like so worried about the kid. And I was like, why do you care? It's not your kid. Why do you even give a shit? And then like 2 seconds later, you find out that like for the 12 years that they were on board the Ark, they were like mind melding with each other.
Well, because furthermore, yes. And to that note, the last episode when the children said something about being like
12 years older than they are supposed to be. Yeah.
And I thought, well, I mean, I guess technically the year of your birth is...
But they are like actually...
But they mentally lived
12 years
for 12 years.
Although they did then make a comment in this episode that the time moves differently. So it maybe didn't feel like 12 years, but it really was 12 years. But it was interesting. And so that was... It was like 2 seconds after in my head, I was like, why do you care so much about Paul? Like, obviously he's like a child and you should care, but like they cared too much.
But because I was going to say, no, I that for me was like, okay, well then these must be, because we don't know who they are. We don't know who or what these people are. We got some insight into this, that they were that they were atheists. Yeah. And there was a war between the atheists and the Mithraic. Mm-hmm. And the Mithraic are the ones who built the androids, which feels weird. Doesn't that?
It does feel a little weird.
And so there's stuff where it's like, I anticipate an explanation for that in episode 6. You know what I mean?
Sure. Like, we also did get a little bit of 300 Spartans thrown in here.
Well, because the atheists, which again, weird, the atheists recruited children into their armies. And presumably, Travis Fimmel Marcus? Yeah. Presumably Marcus was a child soldier. Mm-hmm. And so it's really interesting. I guess I don't. I kept waiting for Ryan to know that they're not his parents.
Paul,
Ryan is the voice.
Yeah.
I keep waiting for Paul to know they're not his parents. Because he clocked them. He was like, why are you talking to me?
Yeah. I don't know. At this point, I kind of feel like he might prefer Marcus and, what is it, Sue? Or, no, she's Mary.
No, she's Sue.
She's Sue, but she's in Mary's body now.
Okay.
Right.
They're calling her Sue.
Yeah.
She's listed as Sue on this.
Okay. So I almost wonder if he's like, well, this is weird and not normal, but it's nicer than before, so I'll allow it. Like, I won't kick up a fuss.
Yeah, so Marcus is playing it fast and loose.
Yeah, here's the thing.
As Travis Fimmel is wont to do.
I am back in the same thing from when because I never actually like actively watched Vikings, but I've seen enough episodes to like to feel confident in like what I know about his acting, but like he's doing the same thing to me again where I can't tell if it's good or weird because I'm liking it.
I was like, I cannot tell if Travis Fimmel is an excellent actor making fascinating choices or just, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but not like a one-trick pony, but it's like he's kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And it
because he's a little chaotic.
Yeah.
Well, like that's the thing is like if you have one trick and it's this interesting, absolutely let yourself get typecast. Like because then you can just like ride your one trick into the sunset. But I can't tell.
Unrelated. I mean, it is related, but unrelated. I put a poll out on Twitter where I was like, mullet, yes or no?
No.
And the results were no. And this show is not helping me. No.
If you get your hair cut like Travis Fimmel in this show, I will stop doing this podcast with you.
I just have this like really weird wig for half. No, because I'm starting to wonder if like crazy hair is a prerequisite for Travis to take a role. Because Vikings, that was crazy hair.
Yeah, but it was like Norse. This is like
there were mullets. Well, this is like you fell asleep,
futuristic,
like in
hair.
A bathtub with a razor, like a buzz.
You took Ambien and then you took your like clippers to the to work. Yeah, I don't know. That was one of the things that I said first about the show. Is it's like every time you watch something by Ridley Scott, you can be guaranteed that there are going to be some like severe haircuts, and it doesn't stop.
That one girl,
it doesn't stop happening. Yeah,
so bad. I don't know, and I was immediately like, I almost wanted, because you had gone to bed when I was watching it, and I almost wanted to like knock on the door and be like, oh my god, they're going back, because I was so bummed when they crashed the Ark, because I was like, that's what I was interested in, and it turns out that A, they're flashing back, so we are getting to see it, and B, there were survivors. Not enough, I don't think. I thought there were more. It was looking like Lost, like the pilot episode of Lost at first. And then by the time they were like going across the tundra, it was like 15 of them. And I was like, oh, well, I thought there was like a good 50.
Yeah.
But we'll see. They're down one person and an android. I guess, did she like jump down the hole? There's got to be something down the hole.
Yeah, I'm not convinced we're done with anybody who's gone down a hole.
Yeah, the little girl, the first to fall down that hole.
Yeah. Because
didn't they find her doll? Wasn't that...
I think Paul found it in the woods. The little stick doll. I think so, yeah.
Hers? I remember seeing it before.
Well, and then he fell down a hole, but he fell down a hole in the woods.
Yeah.
Paul. With the mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the kids, like, ran away.
Well, they were getting sick.
Right, they thought Mother was doing it.
And they thought Campion thought Mother was poisoning them because the smart oldest boy who sucks was like... She's not trying to help you and like whatever. So they decided to run away. But then Father found out that it was basically how they were growing the like tubers, the food, the vegetables that they were eating.
I was like, what is a cabo? Is that the vegetable?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that it's real.
Yeah.
But it's like a tuber, like a potato, kind of. And he discovered that they were like turning radioactive in some capacity. And so that's what was making the Mithraic kids sick because they weren't eating it the whole time. And that was what caused a couple of the other of their kids to get sick and die because it like gradually did it over time. And so like, but weirdly Campion is like totally immune, it seems. Okay. So it was interesting. It's like, that's the thing is like, it's really interesting, but there's not like, and I don't even want to say there's no character development because there is. There's not a lot of character moments that are like reaching out to me. You know what I mean?
Well, just the stuff with the family in the sim.
Yeah, that stuff was all really cool.
City.
It was pretty.
He was building.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Oh my god, I want it.
You're like, I want to play with that, like a dollhouse.
Yeah, Mother is starting.
Yeah.
I already mentioned that I came down real hard on her in the beginning. And she does seem to be... Because when you were like, there's no character arcs, I'm like, we're getting one.
No, we are.
Yeah.
It's taking time, which is fine. But it's very weird and interesting what they're doing with her specifically. I am interested to keep seeing what's happening, but they are going about it in a way that's like making me a little more irritated than interested.
Okay.
I don't know. There's some, and I don't really know how to explain what I mean, but it's just like every time she's on screen, she's like nagging the children about like their religion or doing whatever. It's just like, oh my God, do we have to do this again? Come on.
So the guy who's like the leader of the Mithraic, what do we think the issue is with the Mithraic? Is it good old fashioned like Catholic corruption? Like, is he just at the top of the...
Potentially.
He seems to be aware that there is something going on with Marcus.
Yeah, he also seems but he seems like a little worthless too. Yeah.
There's a term for it. I can't think of what it is, but it's like a person who participates in an organization, and it's like not a sycophant, although kind of like he's without his higher ups. You know what I mean?
Oh, like there were people above him, and now he's like not,
and he doesn't know how to.
Okay,
like.
Well, so he like basically, you think he just like floated up to the middle and was like, I'm cool here. And now he's like the highest ranking.
A little bit like he seems like he doesn't know, like he doesn't have his money or power, that it's like a mega church preacher.
Okay.
That found their way in an actual apocalypse.
Okay.
Like, oh, I knew how to pretend to do this.
But I don't know how to actually do it.
And I think without the chain of command, without everything, he's kind of, I don't know, it feels... Mother had turned me off so much to the atheists that I just put the Mithraic in the like...
No, I think nobody is going to be good.
Sure, of course. But it's like, we're there now. Where I'm like, well, I don't know who.
Yeah.
Because now we have, so far Marcus seems to be our only real compass.
Sure.
And so it's like, so what is he? What is he?
But even still, he's like kind of a bad compass because he was an atheist and he was a child soldier but now he's a Mithraic and he's like pretending to be, but it's like I don't think is necessarily good either. I think it's it's like shades of gray, obviously.
So, okay, well, we're gonna keep watching.
Yeah.
So, this is our third episode.
Oh yeah, this is actually, this will be everything that you guys hear in the normal episode. And then if you have liked this coverage and you want to keep hearing us cover Raised by Wolves, you can join us over on the Patreon, where we will be releasing the remaining episodes weekly from here till the end of the season. Yeah. And then other than that, you can follow us on Twitter @SoI'mWatching, Instagram @SoI'mWatchingThisShow. You can also follow along on the website, soI'mWatching.com, which links out to everything. And other than that, just please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or YouTube, which is coming up pretty quick, or wherever else you listen. And that's it for us. Bye.